Okay, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Hello there, techies. I am having a lot of fun with these e-bikes, which is what we're filming today for season 3 premiere. And thank you so much for the support you've been giving us all this time. My name is Brian Jojotieno, NTV's in-house techie. You can call me Branji. These are electric bikes, e-bikes from e-bikes Africa. Today we'll be talking about the larger scheme of things in the climate action and sustainability and electromobility space in Kenya and Africa by large. How are these units of bicycles making it easy for you to go around your city, your town, about your business, if you're a delivery guy? How are you going around all that in an affordable way and in a way that is environmentally friendly? That and so much more on the other side of the conversation. But first off, tech news of the week, as always.
Safaricom's mobile money platform M-Pesa introduced M-Pesa Ratiba, a mobile money feature that will allow users to set up standing orders directly from their M-Pesa wallets, enabling seamless and automatic payments of recurring transactions and bills. The feature allows users to automatically transfer funds from their wallet on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis to another person, or to pay recurring bills or subscriptions. Other benefits include a simple and seamless setup process and no penalties incurred for cancelled or failed standing order transfers that may occur due to insufficient balance. This innovation, the first of its kind to bring standing orders to the convenience of mobile devices, plays a key role in enhancing financial inclusion among the underbanked population while advancing the country's progress towards a cash-light economy. M-Pesa Ratiba will also play a key role in driving subscription services, opening new possibilities in the media and entertainment, software and technology, health and wellness, education, as well as the e-commerce industries, while transforming customer experiences within the financial services ecosystem. With M-Pesa Ratiba, you can set up a regular payment for rent, school fees, insurance, newspaper subscription, or other standard utility bills payment, as well as upkeep for your loved ones. M-Pesa Ratiba is now accessible on the M-Pesa app's Financial Services tab and on USSD through *334# option 9. To get started, customers must review and accept the terms and conditions, and they can then opt in using their M-Pesa PIN.
Very well there, techies. Now that you're up to speed with what's been happening in the tech world, tech news is out of the way. Let's now talk about electric mobility. And the first episode this season will be on e-bikes, which is what you saw me on earlier on. Today I'm at e-bikes Africa with the founder, Jogs Mbugwa. Jogs,
Yes.
good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
You have been on this for a minute.
Yes.
What inspired you to get into e-bikes, and what is this opportunity you're seeing in Kenya that not so many people are seeing?
Yes, we started e-bikes in 2022,
Yeah.
and our goal is to change how people and goods move around African cities.
Oh, great.
So we see a big urbanization curve
Yeah.
across Africa,
Yeah.
and we're expecting 50% of people will be living in urban areas by 2030.
Okay.
70% of these people will be youth,
Mm-hmm.
and there's already a lot of congestion.
Yeah.
So we are trying to help with that congestion, air pollution, and sustainability using electric bicycles.
Great. And just to paint a picture, what is the vehicle to human ratio currently in Africa, which is what gives you that opportunity to want to get into e-bikes strongly?
So Africa has actually one of the lowest vehicle to population ratio
Yeah.
in the world.
Oh.
We have one vehicle for every 25 people.
Mhm.
So clearly, buying more vehicles and putting them on our road
Yeah.
is not the only solution.
Yeah.
We need to find solutions that are affordable, lightweight,
Yeah.
and more accessible.
And healthy, we must say.
Healthy, yes.
Talking of affordability,
Yeah.
this unit goes for about $750 US.
Yes.
About, if you convert that in Kenya shillings, that's about 115,000 Kenya shillings. But talk to us about the cost of ownership,
Yeah.
power, spare parts, and the like.
So these bikes are very affordable.
Yeah.
We've been able to achieve that low price from sourcing in bulk.
Yeah,
So that's very affordable for the kind of quality you receive.
for sure.
A similar bike like this in Europe, America costs way above $2,000.
Yeah.
So our bikes go for 115.
Yeah.
But once you buy it,
Yeah.
it gives you a range to charge for a full distance of 80 kilometers. It uses 20 shillings.
20.
20 shillings, half a token.
How much do you use for daily commuting?
Yes. Good question. Yeah. So 80 kilometers.
And you can only charge it twice a week, right?
Yeah. Twice a week gives you 160 kilometers.
Okay.
So you can go to work every day
Okay.
at a cost of 40 bob for you. You can explore your area, your home.
Yeah.
Also, spare parts for these bikes are very affordable.
Okay.
We offer 1 year free service, 1
Okay.
year free maintenance for our bikes.
Okay.
But in case any part gets spoiled, you can exchange it for just 1,000 shillings. The tires are 1,000 bob.
Wow.
The brakes are 1,000. The
Wow.
pedals. Yeah. Every single part here is accessible in Kenya from any bike shop. Yeah.
Amazing. Then there are those of us who perhaps may not have the 115,000 one-off.
Yes.
How do you structure their payments so that they are also reached?
Yeah, we've partnered with a few institutions.
Yeah.
And we are actively partnering with more and more SACCOs and banks where we're offering their members affordable pay-as-you-go model.
Yeah.
So they can pay a deposit of 10,000 shillings and pay a daily fee of 370 only. If you're spending more than 370 on fare, you should definitely get
You should have
a
this.
bike. Yes.
This is definitely it's a startup.
Yes.
So what are the revenue models? Because the purchase is one.
Yes.
There's also the spare parts bit,
Yes.
but there are also other models.
Yes.
What's your revenue model? What's your business model like?
So we work with 3 main products.
Okay.
First is we sell the bike
Yeah.
to commuters,
Yeah.
business owners, enthusiasts, guys who are going to Karura. Second is we do delivery.
Yeah.
So we have a delivery service where businesses can pay a flat fee and have a rider come to their place of business and deliver from morning up to evening.
Yeah.
You can also pay per delivery around 200 shillings anywhere in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And finally, we offer lease. So if you are a hotel owner or a tour operator
Yeah.
and you want to offer the bike for adventure tours,
Yeah.
then we can lease it to you and work together to support ecotourism.
Ah, great.
Yes.
Supporting ecotourism. That's
Yes.
very, very key. Let's talk about the features
Yes.
and how they merge into the bigger picture of sustainability
Yes.
as a key cause in this day and age.
Yeah.
Number 2, health.
Yeah.
And of course, security
Yes.
of the rider.
Yes.
This is a whole machine. You were giving me the brief earlier on, and I loved the fact that it has security features.
Yes.
It has a lot going on here.
Yes.
Just talk to us about those key elements that make this bike stand out from the others.
Yeah. So this is an electric bicycle.
Yeah.
Not just any other bicycle, but an electric bicycle.
Yeah.
We have a battery here
Yeah.
that acts as the power source.
Yeah.
We have a motor in the back tire,
Okay.
and we have some controls here that you can use.
Yeah.
So the battery powers the motor using the controls.
Yeah.
We have a throttle that you can use. So
Can we lift it?
yes, we can.
All right, do your thing.
So there we turn.
There you go.
Yep. And it has 5 different gears.
Uh-huh.
So with a top speed of 45 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
So we can set that top speed based on your use.
Okay.
Whatever speed you want.
We're going to test that later on.
Yes.
Good stuff.
We also have sensors in the pedals.
Mhm.
So any energy you put in, the bike pushes you 10 times forward.
Wow.
So you can put on a suit, ride this to work, and you'll be just fine.
And you'll be just fine.
Yeah, the bike also comes with tracking features.
Yeah.
And if you have a corporate company and you want to get this for your staff or your agents and you'd like to know how their productivity is doing, you can very easily do that.
Monitor that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can set settings where if people overspeed,
Yeah.
or if the bike leaves a certain area, you get a notification.
Okay.
You can disable it remotely. These are coming to phase out borders. Yeah. I see them as a very affordable, efficient option.
Let's talk about the cost of putting up infrastructure and
Yes.
how that merges to the bigger question of e-mobility
Yes.
as a continent.
Yes.
Kenya, we must admit that we don't have all those infrastructure and facilities to power our e-mobility dreams.
Yes.
And that's a different conversation. But do you possibly think that that is also a threat that your business is faced with at the moment?
Not a threat,
Okay.
an opportunity for growth.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of support from governments across Africa.
Okay.
And there's a lot of work being done to support e-mobility and clean energy.
Okay.
So Kenya is at the forefront. 70% of our energy is green energy from hydroelectric. We also have tax incentives by the government for e-mobility players.
Wow.
We have the E-Mobility Association of Kenya. When it comes to facilities, we're seeing a big growth from, a lot of help from people like UNEP, who are doing a lot of cycling lanes across right now 9 African cities.
Yeah.
We have initiatives like Share the Road.
Yeah.
We have JICA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the county governments are doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
We're seeing smart cities. So we are getting there. And Africa is positioned at a good place where we are learning from the West, people who've already made those mistakes. So we can really pick up and implement very quickly.
Yeah, and provide ourselves with African solutions.
African solutions.
Great. Last question before we go on the test drive or on the test ride.
Yes.
There are other auxiliary services like the insurance, which is not talked about a lot.
Yes.
The motor insurance that we see is for fossil fuel powered vehicles. Do you have an insurance product that is currently covering the e-bikes?
Yes.
And what would you say about that in the larger spectrum of e-mobility, even for the vehicles? Because that would also be a key conversation point. Nobody wants to chuck 115,000 Kenya shillings and lose their bike just like that, because this is hot cake at the end of the day. Look at that. Affordable power, cost of maintenance is very cheap. The most expensive spare part is 1,000 Kenya shillings. Definitely it will be mouth-watering for anyone to take advantage of that. So what do you think about the insurance policy products around e-mobility currently in the market?
It has been a learning curve for both the mobility side and the insurance side.
Yeah.
We are getting more and more support from insurance companies.
Okay.
And they're building products especially for e-mobility companies and products.
Okay.
When it comes to safety of these bikes have multiple GPS trackers embedded in their systems.
Yeah.
So
I can see the labeling here.
yes, it's very hard to steal a bike. Also, we want to get to a point where bicycles are commonplace, and you step out of your home and you pick a bike and you ride it to town and you drop it off wherever you're going.
Yeah.
So this 115,000 is very little in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah.
When you bring that down to a per trip basis, it's maybe 10 shillings, depending on the number of trips you make in a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to make it normal so that they no longer are hotcakes.
Great. Come with us to that experience. We're going to ride the e-bikes and just have a feel of it as you enjoy TECHOVER. Yeah. Come with us. That's show off now. Very well, then we're back from that test ride of the e-bikes by Jogs Mbugua, E-Bikes Africa. And it's been quite the experience just getting on these things. It was actually my first time, so msicheke. And that's why we take a short break. You're watching TECHOVER, don't go too far. We'll be back with more. Great. Welcome back to the show that discusses all things technology and Africa's biggest tech conversation. Time now to know who our founder this week is. Ladies and gentlemen, Startup of the Week is here.
In manufacturing, managing orders and inventory manually can be challenging, especially when dealing with numerous and heterogeneous clients. As it were, manufacturers will receive orders from clients and process manually together with manual invoicing and prepare the orders for delivery. The process has since proven to be tedious, which is why a team of Kenyan innovators from Patika Limited, the parent company for Sanifu, leveraged artificial intelligence to automate all these processes and manage costs for manufacturers.
So let's say, for instance, you have a team of, let's say 5. Some have even more, even up to 10. These guys are basically customer service. So they have a lot to do. They need to talk to customers, they need to upsell customers, they also need to process these orders and ensure that it has gotten all the way to the dispatch. So now you realize that the manual entry itself takes like 70% of their time in a day, which means that all the things that are more important, like talking to customers, solving their issues, only has 30% of the time left. So you realize that the companies are basically losing as a result of this manual process. If you're paying someone a certain amount a month, and 70% of basically what you're paying for is spent on these manual tasks that could be easily automated. So that's what Sanifu comes to do. Then sometimes you realize that as a result of that manual process, you end up with errors. So for instance, and sometimes it could be quantity. Maybe someone wanted 17, but you type in 7. Or they wanted 10, but you forget the 0. So now usually when you supply these products to the customer in a way that it's different from what was in the LPO, the customer will reject. So it has to be returned. So you can imagine the cost, the logistics. You've transported something all the way to Kisumu, it has to be returned back to Nairobi. So there's the logistics costs. Sometimes the items are perishable. So by the time you're returning it, it will most likely go bad, which means they're all written off. So those are some of the losses that we are trying to eliminate.
Felix insists their product is not necessarily about making people jobless, but replacing them with more meaningful tasks.
Actually, the main thing Sanifu is trying to do right now is to try to free people's time. All the customers that we have, you realize that these guys are now being assigned higher value tasks. So instead of you doing manual entry, they can be doing sales, or you're doing invoicing. So that's the kind of thing we are doing. So it's kind of like a displacement whereby you focus on higher value tasks, which means the companies on their side, they're getting more value for their money. Yes, so that's the kind of vision that we have for Sanifu.
The product was developed in 2022 with APIs as its main integration mode for manufacturers' ERP systems.
Our very first customer was Kenchik Limited, and Kenchik had a very good response to the product. They were experiencing a bunch of challenges around order processing, and when Sanifu came in, we were able to address a bunch of those challenges. Since then, we've been able to onboard a bunch of customers who are currently now using Sanifu to streamline their order processing. It's a product that is paid on a monthly basis by our customers, especially the manufacturers, their subscription business. And the monthly price per customer is dependent on a number of factors. So we don't have a blanket price that applies to all customers. Some of the factors that we look at include the complexity of the workflows that we have to automate. We look at things like the losses that they currently incur around the orders not being processed efficiently. For example, you'll have a customer who has market returns of around 1 million shillings on a weekly basis. That means the clerk, when they were doing the data entry, they missed an entry. For example, a supermarket could say, deliver for us 16 boxes of XYZ product, but now the clerk missed and entered 18. That means you have to return an extra 2, right? Which means obviously there are lots of costs that are incurred during the return. For example, logistical costs, as well as the credit loss that have to now reversed for the process. So we look at such factors for us to give the customers pricing that works for them. And obviously we look at the volume of orders that they get on a daily basis. Our ideal customer in the manufacturing industry typically receives a minimum of 50 LPOs on a daily basis. for our product to make economic sense to them.
And while their first point may have been manufacturing, Sanifu hopes to scale to serve other retailers and service-based businesses.
Kenya currently has over 2,000 manufacturers in various sectors. So you have manufacturers in FMCG and other areas. So we're talking about manufacturers who do flour, wheat, processed foods, processed chicken and things like that. And we, from our own market assessment, the data told us that there are lots of inefficiencies in manufacturing that still needs automation. I think automation started decades ago, and still manufacturers are struggling things around manual processing of orders, as well as manual processes within the operations that have to be made efficient. So when we spoke to a bunch of the initial leads that were interested in our solution, we spoke to manufacturers. At some point we spoke to accounting firms and other areas, but the problem was more felt in the manufacturing sector, where they were losing sales as a result of inefficient order processing, and they were incurring a lot of costs in hiring extra clerks, especially during a busy season. So you can imagine a manufacturer in December, when they're processing a lot of orders from supermarkets, they have to employ almost double the human capital during the other seasons, right? That means during that period of a busy season, say Easter or Ramadan or Christmas, you have an influx of orders from retailers. That means you have to add additional people to the team, which obviously means your costs can't scale. If, for example, you want to add extra customers, or if you want to add an extra country, for example, you want to expand from Kenya to Uganda or to Tanzania, you can't scale the order processing team effectively without adding costs. So from our own experience, and the data that we got from the market, we felt manufacturing is an area that we need to get into for us to add value there.
The advantages of automation in manufacturing are numerous and significant, ranging from increased efficiency and productivity to improved safety and quality control. However, the challenges and potential drawbacks of automation also need to be considered, such as the initial investment cost and the need for skilled labor to operate and maintain these technologies. Despite these challenges, the use of automation in manufacturing continues to grow and evolve, with emerging trends such as collaborative robots, the Internet of Things (IoT), and artificial intelligence (AI) reshaping the industry. Sanifu has pioneered this and hopes to scale up, and that's our startup this week.
Now you're up to speed with everything that's happening in the tech world. I think it's not fair that we give you the tech tip of the week. Here's your DIY for Season 3 premiere.
Hi there and welcome to this week's tech tip of the week. If you're a content creator and you upload a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram, here are some tips that will ensure that the videos you upload are of the highest quality. Because you might wonder, you are recording with a good camera and a good phone, but when you upload, it looks bad. So first thing, ensure that you record your video at the highest settings that your camera or your phone can. For example, recording at 4K 30fps or 4K 60fps. If you are recording a lot of footage moving, it is preferred that you record at 60fps so that you can capture more frames. But otherwise, you can just stick to 4K 30fps. Then, once you've shot your video, when you're editing, ensure that you export it at 1080 30fps or 60fps depending on which frame rate you shot it at. Once you've done that, when you're just about to upload the video, on TikTok or Instagram, there are usually some settings which enable you to upload the video at the highest quality. So ensure that you turn this on both platforms, and this way the video will not be compressed down to a lower quality. If you found this helpful, be sure to share with a friend, and I'll see you next week.
Very well, now you're up to speed with what's been happening in the tech world. We've told you this episode on e-bikes. I think it's a fair place to leave it at, but I hope you consider, taking care of the environment and taking up affordable mobility out of e-bikes. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. This is Season 3 premiere. We'll be every other week, Monday, 7:30 p.m. East African time. My name is Brian Jodetieno, NTV's in-house techie. Please stay techie and may tech live forever.